Yeah, let's do it.
Okay.
I call this July 11th, 2022 virtual regular public meeting of the Highland Park Board of Education to order. Thanks everyone for coming. We've got a good number to start with here. We're almost full. The New Jersey Open Public Meetings Act was enacted to ensure the right of the public to have advance notice of and to attend the meetings of the public bodies at which any business affecting their interest is discussed or acted upon. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act, the Highland Park Board of Education has caused notice of this meeting, setting forth the time, date, and location to be submitted for publication to the Houghton News Tribune and Star Ledger, and posted on the board's website at least 48 hours in advance of this meeting. Members of the public who wish to address the board will be given the opportunity to do so before the board adjourns for the evening. Linda, do you want to do the roll call?
Ms. Casaldon,
Here.
Ms. Simorusti, Ms. Coleman, Ms. Gowan,
Here.
Mr. Krieger,
Here.
Ms. McFadden DiNicola,
Here.
Ms. Prus,
Here.
Mr. Roslevich,
Here.
Mr. Woodward.
Here.
Okay, we're going to recess to executive session. Be it resolved pursuant to the Sunshine Act, NJSA 10:40-12 and 13. The Highland Park Board of Education will now meet in closed session to discuss matters related to student discipline and the EVVRS report for the 21-22 school year. These exemptions are permitted to be discussed in closed session in accordance with NJSA 10:40-13. Information regarding the board's closed session discussion will be disclosed to the public as soon as the need for confidentiality no longer exists. So I move that we convene to closed session. Do I have a second?
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Hey.
Okay, Christina, did you put us in a breakout room in case other people come, or what do we do here?
So we do. Let me admit everybody. And turn the waiting room off so people can just join at their leisure. All right, we're back and recording.
Okay, so I move that we reconvene to regular public meeting. Have a second?
Second. Second.
Okay, we're all in favor of reconvening?
Aye.
Okay, we're back. Pledge of Allegiance. You got that for us?
Yep,
Christina?
1 second. Cue it up. All right, good. Do we see it?
Mm-hmm.
I pledge allegiance
Pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
For all.
Okay, starting through our agenda, there were no communications this month, which I think might be a first. We know it's summertime. Hopefully the public is enjoying the summer. We move on to approval of minutes. We have the minutes from the June 6th and June 6th budget hearing workshop and executive
Well, that's
session.
not- No,
No?
it's not a budget hearing.
Right, it's not.
Okay,
It was
right.
just a workshop meeting,
Workshop meeting. Okay, let's fix that.
taking that off.
Yeah. Hybrid workshop and executive sessions were June 6th, and the hybrid regular and executive sessions for June 13th.
Right.
I move that we approve the minutes. We do that now? I move to approve the minutes of June 6th and June 13th.
Yes.
Second.
Second.
Ms. Casaldon,
Yes.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Gowan,
Yes.
Mr. Krieger,
Yes.
Ms. McFadden DiNicola,
Yes.
Ms. Prus,
Yes.
Mr. Roslevich,
Yes.
Mr. Woodward.
Yes.
Okay. We do not have a superintendent's report this month at this meeting, so we're going to move on to board committee reports. And Michelle, curriculum and instruction.
Yes. Unfortunately, curriculum and instruction was not able to meet this time. But there are some agenda items that I can go through. Just need to change my screen, so bear with me. Okay. So item number 1 on the agenda is the typical approval of field trip requests. Number 2 is the approval of Schedule B interscholastic athletic schedules for the fall and winter season of 2022-23 school year. Number 3 is the approval of the updated job description 2144 student assistance counselor K through 12, which I know Rob, Ann, and myself are very excited to see. Without even talking to them, I can tell you. Number 4 is the approval of the revised school district calendar for the 2022-23 school year. Number 5 is the approval of home instruction for the students listed there. And that is the end of our section of the agenda.
Okay, thank you. Monique, Equity and Excellence.
Yes, we met on June 27th. And our first item on the agenda was an update on the AP Honors Accessibility Committee work. Dr. Nicoza reported that the committee met on earlier in the month on the 8th, and they discussed the summer cohort program and also recapped their work for this year. So a couple of highlights there in their year in review. What this committee did accomplish this year is that they removed the teacher recommendation requirement for AP or honors access, which obviously presented a structural barrier that the committee was really working hard to remove. They implemented the student character and interest inventory, created and implemented the inventory, and that was administered during PE classes or in meeting with school counselors to, I believe, the overwhelming majority, if not all of the high schoolers. They established which will be a year-long cohort program beginning this summer. That is optional for students taking AP or honors for the first time. In the meeting, we were just updated briefly on some of the key points they discussed. And one of the science teachers that serves on the committee, Ms. Steffen, shared her concern about students who sign up for AP chemistry in particular without having taken an intro chem class. And as a teacher of the AP Chem, she voiced that concern. She cited that historically those students often struggled with AP Chem, not having that intro class. And to help students prepare for the course, what she had done in the past was she put together various self-study modules focused on core chem knowledge that they would need. And students could complete that on their own in the summer. And then she would administer a test at the end of the summer, and the students' score on that test would determine whether they would be able to take AP Chem. So in light of the committee's work, Ms. Steffen was really, grappling with, or really just acknowledged that particular assessment process was a barrier to the full access that the committee was seeking to achieve. But she also expressed concerns about students getting a low grade in the course because maybe they did not have enough of the foundational skills. So the committee considered possible impacts on the student of their self-esteem and feelings of confidence if they were to get a low grade in the course, and as well as the impact on the teachers and the families. So they discussed also what could they do structurally, being prepared to be able to provide alternative options for students. Of course, that presents scheduling issues. So students who struggle, who may want to switch to a different class, may not be able to if it's just not available. Ultimately, the committee did agree that the end of the summer assessment should be removed. It wouldn't be a barrier, but it would still be optional, provided on an optional basis for students, so that they complete the self-study and then can, truly get an assessment of where they stand at the end of that completion of those modules. But they will not be prevented from taking the course based on a score in that assessment. So yes, that was just an overview of that discussion. The committee will meet again in the fall to plan for next school year, and they're anticipating meeting 3 to 4 times per year. The second item we discussed was with mental health support, kind of year-round mental health support that Dr. Nicoza is working closely with Elizabeth Asamoah to implement for high school and middle schools. And truly, I think across the district, we're looking at really trying to provide continuity at developmentally appropriate levels, mental health support. So they're continuing to develop those resources across the schools, and we'll update the committee on these efforts in the fall. Then we discussed summer program update. The first cohort of incoming 9th graders who are, again, taking AP or honors for the first time and were eligible to sign up for the program, that those students are eligible to take the program the first 2 weeks of July. It'll run Tuesday, Thursday from 8:30 to 11:30. 13 out of the 65 eligible rising 9th graders signed up for the program. Teachers are making calls to try to encourage more students to participate. Again, I'm not sure how there's been any major changes where that's concerned since our meeting, but as of that time, those were the numbers. And Dr. Nicosia did discuss compiling the demographic data as well once those numbers were solidified, which I assume they are by now. And then the second cohort are the 10th to 12th graders that will run July 26th to August 11th, same day and time frame. Only one student signed up, a rising sophomore signed up for that cohort. So, obviously not the numbers that anyone in terms of the administration or board members who have been really working with the administration on this and supporting their efforts wanted to see. So I know at that time, Dr. Nicosia was considering the possibility of combining the cohorts if no other upper class senior high schooler decided to sign up for that second cohort. So perhaps we can get an update on that. But yeah, the numbers were not encouraging, but it's the first time around, first summer. So hopefully the program can just continue to improve and develop as it progresses. And then we talked about just looking ahead for the Equity and Excellence Committee, who wanted to really start thinking about what our areas of focus are going to be for the upcoming school year. We will be meeting in August. Date is to be determined. And at that time, we'll really solidify the areas of focus, but we did acknowledge that we want to obviously continue topics such as the AP and honors accessibility work that's going on and supporting that work. Anti-racist language instruction, which is another area that I know we started to really tackle a bit, especially in the early grades, Irving and Bartle level, and quote unquote detracking, removing structural barriers to equitable reading instruction in those grades as well. So in addition to those kind of ongoing topics, we talked about school safety and how we can address or approach school safety through the lens of improved mental health supports and prevention, student threat assessment protocols, and how we really want to make sure that the district really beefs up their protocols around student threat assessments and making sure that we provide the support and prevention that will help keep our community safe. 2, we talked about recruitment and retention of staff of color and really trying to kind of hone in on that work. Improving diversity and student participation in high school clubs and activities. I know that's something that we have talked about in the past in Equity and Excellence. And I know we had some demographic data on that, demonstrating some of the disparities. So we want to, and we talked about that issue being connected to the low numbers of student staff of color as well, available to really lead and diversify our high school enrichment activities after school. So those are just some of the topics we are thinking we want to really tackle next year. And we're looking forward to meeting in August. That's all.
Thank you, Monique. That was really, really helpful. Good summary. Does anybody have any questions or comments for Monique before we move on? No? Okay. Then we move on to finance and facilities. Mark, what do you got for us?
Yes, good evening, everybody. So we did not have a meeting. We had a meeting scheduled for last week, but it was canceled. It was only one item to discuss, which was self-evident, which is Irving and Bartle playgrounds are all bid out and ready to go, but the contractors aren't able to get the materials because of the supply chain problems. So it looks like those will get done in September, hopefully in September. And that was it. I mean, that was the agenda. Going beyond that, we have our list of items that we'll be voting on this evening. We have June athletic bill list, number 1, the cafeteria bill list for part of May and June. We have travel and related expense reimbursements attached. We have contractors for professional services. The first one's one of those, which is Christian Bellissimo, and that's professional development for Irving. And I'm happy to see an item on that called Play to Grow. I like the word play. And a bunch of different topics in September, early September, during professional development time. The other items are all year-long items, starting now and going till the end of June next year. And they're not specific professional services that we're approving now to spend the money, but they're just approvals so that we can use these different agencies to do services or evaluations that we need, because it's so hard to get people. And that means, for instance, advanced education advisement, educational evaluations, bilingual education, psych evaluations, speech services, occupational therapy, et cetera, et cetera. The same with the next item, behavioral services, et cetera, and so on. Brett Denovian Associates, Delta T Group, General Health Resources, the Hearing Center, Home Care Therapies, the Stepping Stone Group, BBS Healthcare, E2E Exchange. That's our E-rate. That's our E-rate a consultant, and has their fees. But all of those other items between the second and this last one are all approvals. Oh, and I didn't say yes, school nurses, social workers. These are positions that are extraordinarily hard to fill right now, both if we need to hire someone, but also if we need consultants for any extra work. So hopefully expanding this list will help us. Number 5 is the approval of membership in the NJSIAA, cost of $2,500. That's the Interscholastic Athletic Association. Number 6 is a donation from George Gilmore in the class of 1952 in the amount of $4,000 to be used towards the replacement of high school soundboard equipment in the auditorium. Number 7 is approval of a mural at Bartle Elementary School being done by Nicole Gonzalez through the Highland Park Arts Commission. And that would be a mural in the back wall of the Bartle Elementary School, free of charge. And I believe that's where the tables are outside against the wall. So that'll be much more interesting and colorful. Number 8 is a settlement agreement writer on an agreement that was done in November of 2017. And this is this is on some special out of district that involved attorneys. 9 is the quotes for shot put pad at the high school, and 10 is the approval of the contract at the cost of $7,500 to T. Theotakis Construction. Item 11 is the submission of the ESEA Title I SIA grant to the amount of $20,000. 12 is approval of submission of the IDEA grant application, basic at $446,764, and IDEA preschool $15,696. Number 13 is approval of a contract with Rutgers University Behavioral Health Care for professional psychiatric services at the rate of $26,900 for during the school year from July 1st through June 30th, 2023. 14 is an approval of a bedside instruction, which wasn't included in the previous lists at our last meeting. And 15 is also an item that wasn't included at the time, and this is for Rutgers Day School extended school year per the child's IEP, cost of $15,362. Number 16 goes on for about a page and a half, and that's our different insurances. So well, I'm not going to go through all of them, but these are all of our insurances. Our commercial package, our business auto, our umbrella, workman's comp, supplemental indemnity. I guess I am going through all of them. Excess liability, public official bonds, environmental liability, cyber liability. We had to spend a lot of money in this budget to continue to get cyber liability. And the last one is a student accident a premium. And then the last item in, no, that is the last item, excuse me, number 16 should be the last item in finance. So I leave it there. Any questions?
It looks like Chris has one.
Chris?
Yeah, Mark, do we have a design for the mural?
I don't know. Do we have a design?
My understanding is I think it's going to be like a ocean-like
Oh, right,
dolphin scene.
right. Because they're the dolphins.
The dolphins.
I forgot, sorry.
So no people.
Are you worried about controversy there, Chris?
Yeah, I mean, you know,
Any
not-
person.
you know, either, I mean, you know, that sounds very innocuous, right? Sounds wonderful. But, you know, just in general, I think if it has to do with the appearance of the buildings, we should have the design approved. Yeah, but it sounds like it's not going to be a problem in this case.
Well, we'll definitely approve it. We just haven't gotten it yet, but the idea was to do like an ocean dolphin mural, but you will see it to approve it before it goes on.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Yes, of course, of course.
Any other questions for Mark? Okay, seeing none, we're going to move on to personnel. Chris, you're up.
Okay, so Linda sent me some corrections to read in. So agenda item 2 should change the beginning date to September 1st, not the 6th. Item 8, the last name should be Philippi, Phillippi, not Philippe. Number 24, detention monitor should be TBD. Weight room, Rosakowski should remove the strike through for the second. I can't read what's here, amendment something. And head girls basketball, Dana Peterson, the amount should be $7,374. And in item 30, the last name should be Shepherd, Shepherd, not Shepherd. Okay. So we met last week. Everyone in the committee was there. We also discussed the retention and recruitment of teachers and administrators from minoritized groups, as did the Equity and Excellence Committee. We discussed, there is a climate survey, so that goes out as part of the state, but we don't have the flexibility to adjust it. And maybe there might be some teachers that might not feel comfortable responding in that format if they do have concerns about, you know, we want people to feel that their career, you know, they can advance their career goals in the district and find out if there are any issues about that relating to what group they belong to. So I think Dr. Nicosia suggested maybe we could run some focus groups in the upcoming year and get some feedback that way. And then also there was a discussion of having a special day of professional development focused on equity issues or something similar. And she also offered to give us, bring back some statistics about how we're doing in terms of the numbers of teachers and staff and administrators from the different groups. Okay, so moving on to the agenda items. There's the usual, let's see. Item 1 is the approval of the source for teachers. We have a maternity leave. We have a resignation, Xavier Rivas. Thank you very much for your service to Highland Park. Also, number 4, Jesse Scholowitz. Thank you also for your service. 5, Catherine Palucci. Also, thank you. We have a new teacher, Cynthia Raimonda, in Rimondi in the Bartle Elementary School. And we have Jessica Jozak in the Bartle as well. The district has managed to find a Mandarin teacher, which we're very happy about. Proposed to approve Yeling Philippe. That was corrected. So I guess is it Philippi? Christina, do you know what the correct pronunciation is?
I don't know the correct, I think it's Philippi.
Philippi, okay. And number 9 is approve. This says approval of special education teacher. Is this correct? I thought Mr. O'Keefe was teaching the middle school mathematics.
So we went back and forth with that. He made he's applying for his certificate of eligibility for special education and taking the coursework for it because he's interested in teaching. He's in teaching our middle school BD program.
Okay. And we have a approval of a teacher of mathematics in middle school, Michelle Burlew.
Yeah.
As item number 10. 11 is approval of summer camp band. 12 is a title change, which has historical reasons. 13, transfer of the lunch aid para to full-time. 14, 15 are also paraprofessionals. 16 are transfers. 17, we already talked about the AP Honors student cohort, so this is the planning sessions for that. Item 19, 18, and 20 are about technology. 21 is about the child study team hours. 22 is approval for compensation for classroom moves. 23 are the Schedule B positions. Will the yoga club position be filled in at a later time, or are we approving that now, or what are we doing with that? It says TBD.
Yeah, any of the ones that say TBD, no one's applied for yet.
Okay, so we may revisit that. We're not approving that today, but we may revisit that in the future. 24 is a correction of the rates. 25 are approval of volunteers for athletics. 26 is approval of our own Maya Palin as a volunteer. 27 is the approval of Linda's contract. And 28 is approval of staff for the high school freshman orientation. 29, the SHIP program. 30, the approval to handle with care training, which is a program for students on the autism spectrum, if I understood correctly. 31 is the STAR program. And 32 is additional hours for the CST. 33, home instructors. Additional hours for the nurse in 34, and STAR additional hours in 35. And then TeachTown is also special education software. Is that what I understood?
Yes, for the ABA program.
For the ABA. And 39 is approval of the ice cream event. Any questions?
There's a lot of agenda items there. And then we go back to our last committee report is policies, regulations. Mark, do you have anything on that? We're putting down the fort there.
Yes, policy met last week. We discussed 5 or 6 policies that came on the latest bulletin from Strauss Esme. Those are not on this agenda. They will be on our next month's meeting agenda. So I'll they'll be there, but I'll be able to answer questions and maybe I'll get something out about them. Nothing very earth-shattering. A few words in some of them larger changes, but again, all following the latest statutes. As far as this one, I'm not sure, I should have checked and I apologize. I'm not sure the 2 policies for first reading, what committee did that come from? Do we know?
Are those ours? Equity Max looks at those, the cooperation with law enforcement and the HIB.
The HIB, okay.
I
So,
believe so, yeah.
okay, so those were out there to review. I wasn't part of reviewing those, but the committee did. And then the others are all second readings that we went over last month and passed for first reading.
Okay. Any questions on policy? We good? Then we're gonna move to public comment, right? Highland Park Board of Education welcomes public participation and has reserved this time for your comments. Board policies 0164 and 0167 establish and regulate the right of the public to participate in public meetings. So we'll have two opportunities for public comment tonight. If you would, this first public comment period is 30 minutes up to 3 minutes per speaker. If you wish to comment, please raise your virtual hand and wait for me to call on you, or turn on your camera and raise your real hand. And of course, tell us your name and address. So is there anyone that would like to comment? It's a quiet group. Seeing none, we'll move on. You have another opportunity towards the end of the meeting for public comment, which will be without any time limits. So then we move to board action items and we go through and we vote, right? So Michelle, if you want to move curriculum and instruction for us.
Yes, thank you so much. Oh. Okay, sorry, I didn't know if I was muted or not. Okay, I would like to move items 1 through 5, sorry.
Second.
Chris, you have a question on the,
Yeah, so on the schedule change about Juneteenth, I just like to note for the record the reason for my vote. So there were two sort of proposals that were discussed. One was to mark Juneteenth. I think everyone feels it's important to commemorate Emancipation Day and teach about it. So one proposal was to have it in school that day and teach about it, and the other proposal was to have no school that day. And I wasn't really sure which way I felt about it, so I asked around a little bit. And the concern I got was that 90% of parents still don't have the day off for Juneteenth, and I heard concerns about childcare, what people are going to do. So I'm going to vote against it, but I understand from the board president that that's likely to pass.
any other comments on that, or we move to vote? Michelle, you want to go ahead and move those items?
Sure, I'd like to move items number 1 through 5.
Okay, second?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, Ms. Cassel Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Gowan,
Yes.
Mr. Krieger,
Yes,
Ms. McFadden Nicola,
Yes,
Ms. Prus,
Yes.
Mr. Roslevich,
Yes.
Mr. Woodward,
Yes on all but 4, which is no.
Okay, thank you. Finance and facilities, Mark?
yes, I'd like to move 1 through 16.
Second.
Thank you. Linda?
yes, 1 second.
Sure, no problem.
Ms. Cassel Dunn,
Yes.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Gowan,
Yes.
Mr. Krieger,
Yes,
Ms. McFadden Nicola,
yes,
Ms. Prus,
Yes.
Mr. Roslevich,
Yes.
Mr. Woodward,
Yes.
And moving on to personnel and communication. Chris, do you want to move your very long list?
Can I just say move items 1 through 30 as amended, or do I have to? Yeah, okay.
39.
39.
Yep.
Yeah, 1 through 39 as amended.
Second,
Thank you. Ms. Casaldon,
Yes.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Gowan,
Yes.
Mr. Krieger,
yes,
Ms. McFadden Di Nicola,
yes.
Ms. Prus,
Yes,
Mr. Rizlevich,
Yes.
Mr. Woodward,
Yes.
okay, and we move on to policies and regulations. Mark, do you want to move?
yes, I'd like to move items 1 and 2. Do I have a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Ms. Casaldon,
Yes.
Ms. Coleman,
Yes.
Ms. Gowan,
Yes.
Mr. Krieger,
Yes,
Ms. McFadden Di Nicola,
Yes.
Ms. Prus,
Yes,
Mr. Rizlevich,
Yes.
Mr. Woodward,
Yes.
okay, and next on the agenda is board liaison reports. Has anybody been involved in any of these committees and want to share some information?
Later this week for Human Relations.
Okay, it's gonna be a meeting. Anything else?
Yeah, I will just say I don't have anything to report, and I haven't had anything to report on parents of students of color because that group is not functioning. It's not active at this time. So, and it hasn't been since prior to the pandemic. So I don't want to suggest that we take it off, but I just want to be clear about why I'm not reporting. Is not that I'm missing anything or there's going to be a meeting coming up. It's just not an active group at this time. So that's where we are right now with that.
Okay. I wonder if it's something, whether the school district or the board or some combination would be, should try to help that group, or was that?
I think it really is. Yeah, it was really parent-led and organized. So I think the time will come for that.
Okay.
Ready to do that. That's my opinion.
Okay, terrific. I mean, just thinking, my name is next to Commission for Universal Access. I actually don't even know what that is. I've never seen them. I've seen that they meet. So probably something we need to take off the list. I don't know.
That has been a very active.
Has it?
So yeah.
Oh, totally missed them.
I think Rob is meeting. Rob is the representative. I think it's in this print.
Oh.
Yeah,
well,
and unfortunately, many of their meetings occur on the same evening as our meetings. So I'm not sure what happened this month, and I apologize. I'll have to look into it. But many of their meetings are the same night as our meeting. So I've been trying to catch back up with them, but I'm sure I can do that before our next meeting.
Okay, thanks. I didn't know my name was there. Okay. Anything else? Okay, I don't have a president's report. Old business? No? Or new business?
I actually, oh, sorry. Go ahead, Marilyn.
No, go ahead, Michelle.
Just really quickly, I wanted to just make a little notation about what Chris said about Juneteenth being a day that's difficult for childcare. I don't know that the school can do anything necessarily about childcare, but perhaps there is some kind of organizing we can do on our end for parents that are having a difficult time with that, as far as linking people up that are home, or maybe some event that is, planned, or we could plan something. I know there's a lot on everyone's plate, so I don't know what we could possibly do, but I thought that was important that Chris raised that issue, and that we should probably put that on our radar at some point to do something to help,
Anne, did you want to say something?
Yeah, I don't know if this is new or old, actually. So I apologize because I've missed a couple meetings and this may have been answered. I know we lost federal funding for summer lunches, and I'm just wondering,
what's the district's involvement in summer food programming? Is Highland Park gives a hoot?
Oh, so we have an update.
Yes.
We have a new
actually,
hot off the press update, literally
Yes,
hot off the press.
last week, the State Division of Child Nutrition, I don't know if this came from the federal government or not, but they issued a waiver where we can continue to provide meals, the 2 meals a day, breakfast and lunch, through the summer.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
And they're-
I'm going to be meeting with the regional manager from Pomptonian to get this started as soon as possible.
That's wonderful. Thank you so much.
Yeah,
And the
we're
meals
really-
are the meals are free, correct?
Yes.
This is like, okay.
And we're going to get the full reimbursement rate from the government, as
Yes.
if everybody's free, so.
Then the question is how we get the word out to parents.
Right, right.
Families, so late in the.
Oh, yeah, we'll be sending out email blasts and doing whatever we can to get the word out.
Terrific.
That's great news. Thanks.
That's good to hear. The other item that I had, which is old business, new business, I don't know where it falls, is the district goals. Dr. Nicosia put out a draft. She called it Pathway to Excellence, the strategic plan for 22-23. I don't know if anybody's had a chance to look at it. If you have comments and wanted to discuss it now, otherwise we can discuss it because we meet again August 1st. We are going to vote on it in August. So if you have like feedback or areas that you would want to see added or modified or whatever, you could do it now, or we could do it at our next meeting. That's any preference? Anybody have any thoughts they want to share at this point on those goals?
I reviewed them really, superficially, I should say,
Same.
because I didn't
Yeah,
have
same.
I didn't have a ton of time to get into the details, but I didn't see not one red flag. That's all I wanted to say. And if I do have any comments, I think they would generally be, compliments. But if I think of anything, I will let you guys know via email.
Okay. Sounds good. Anybody else? And I think the action steps were strong. I think the goals are what seems like they've been what we carried throughout the last few years, right? Christina, maybe you want to speak to this. But the action steps were very specific.
Yeah, so what I did was I reviewed from the initiation of the strategic plan. I reviewed all of the documents and the goals, plus the work that we were doing this year to inform the decisions moving forward. That doesn't discount any of the other work that we're doing, but those are the ones that, we're really gonna hyper work on, to make sure that we, can meet or exceed our goals.
Okay. Terrific. They look good to me, but please take a look at them so that when we vote next time, we still have an opportunity to discuss. Or if you have, as Michelle said, if you have any thoughts, we can forward them to Christina and maybe tweak some areas. And along those same lines, I saw 3 people completed the board self-evaluation. So we're moving along in the right direction. So 6 more people to go. Try to take some time to do that. I don't know actually how it works, but I think the School Boards Association can give us a summary, can give me a summary, Mark. Is that how it works? So we can do some work on board goals in August for next year?
I don't remember from last year.
Okay.
I think it was harder last year. It was a
Okay.
little more stressful time and there weren't many. I don't know if they give it out. Certainly you have access to all of them.
Okay, I'll figure it out once we get a few more responses. We'll try to take a look on that. And I'm hoping the board goals would be more like either finance or management, not separate from the school district goals, but how we support with what they're doing. But we'll see how that all plays out. And the other old new business, Christina shared some graduation data today. Maybe you want to share with the group?
Sure, I'd like to. Thank you. Thanks for bringing that up. So I know that was on our radar. It was a tough year for our students coming back and staying in full in person, but I'm happy to report that of the 127 seniors at the high school, unfortunately only 4 did not graduate with their cohort this year, but it was definitely considerable, a lot less than what we were nervous about, coming into May and June with some students that were on the fence. So although we don't like any of them not graduating, 4 is a considerable less number, which takes our in-house graduation rate to 96.85%. Of those 4, students. One is enrolled in summer school and is expected to graduate this summer. Another one of the students will remain with us for a 5th year because they were behind on credits when they transferred from another district. So we're trying to catch that one student up. And the other 2 are now going into a 6th year and most likely will withdraw, and we'll probably try to find an adult program, a GED program of some sort for those students. We don't have the state has not put up their graduation cohort numbers yet. They don't do that for a little while because they have to collect data from our out of district students, because that's reported in that cohort number as well. So the one that's given to the state, I don't have access to. The information that I just presented is our internal in-house data.
It's a great number, which.
Yeah,
Michelle?
I had a nice story to share with everyone. I know that there's plenty that our faculty does for the students that doesn't always get noticed, but I thought this was especially noteworthy. One of my friends had their son graduate this year, and he never missed a day. His attendance was perfect until graduation day, where he got COVID. And he had to miss out on all of the graduation ceremony and celebrations. And after he was cleared medically to come back to society, Mr. Lassiter held a one-man only graduation ceremony for him on the lawn in front of the high school. And they took pictures with the family and everything. So I just wanted to, highlight that. I thought that was a really lovely gesture from Mr. Lassiter. Probably not something that's going to hit the headlines, but it should. I thought that was a really great thing, and I was really happy. This kid had perfect attendance, so I was happy for him that he got to have a graduation ceremony. So thank you to the high school staff for making that happen.
That's a great story. And I think that high graduation rate is attributed to the administration and the teachers, because I know back in May there was a good number of students that were struggling at that point, and I think there was a lot of attention and focus on getting them over the finish line, and probably to that point before that. So kudos to the administration and the teachers who helped those students finish up on time. Any other comments or thoughts? Otherwise, we'll move to our last public comment. The Highland Park Board of Education welcomes public participation and has reserved this time for your comments. Board policies 0164 and 0167 establish and regulate the right of the public to participate in public meetings. So if anyone that's here from the public would like to speak, now's your opportunity. Seeing none, I think. I move that we adjourn our meeting. Second.
That was fast, Mark. That was really fast.
Mark. I think it was second.
Very tired.
Before we vote on that, Michelle and Allison, and I'm not sure when you said you might not be able to, can you hang at the end so we can just resolve our dates issue for committees?
Yeah.
Okay. And now all in favor of adjourning?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you, everyone.
Aye.
Good night.
Good night, everyone.
Good night.
Enjoy your vacation.